right up to the Porsche 912.
Yeah.
This is a 911 in body, and except for one important difference.
What is
it has
that?
a 4-cylinder engine.
I did not know that.
That's what makes the 912 different from the 911. It is the budget 911, so to speak, as all the virtues of the 911, and actually fewer of the vices because the engine's lighter, so the tail is a little less tricky.
How does the 912 drive?
Extraordinary. I've had lots of 911s and such and 356s, which I still have. And this is basically a 911 with the 356 engine in it. So as you were mentioning, this is the 68, therefore it's got the short wheelbase, which is more appropriate to the 4-cylinder than the 6. So this one may be the ideal situation. Of short wheelbase, as you were saying, engines lighter, moved further forward, so the balance is terrific, particularly on tight roads. So we'll use it for rally work because rallies often have very tight bends and such. So it's really a very highly reliable car. Basically, it's the result of approximately 15 years of development from the 356.
I think that this is probably the Cayman of its day, and it certainly makes a lot of sense to have the engine a little bit further forward, a lot lighter, shorter wheelbase. All those things that you say make sense. I love the color, by the way.
Oh, it's the proper slate gray paint color.
What this is 68, I think you said. How long have you had it?
I've had it 5 years.
How'd you get it?
I went on Hemmings and found it, California car, and had started detailing it the way I want it. This is a sort of somewhat of an outlaw, has lots of details that I prefer in a car. It's not trying to meet the Concours requirements of every screw slot heading towards magnetic north. It's got lots of little details. And what I wanted is that the whole car becomes more monochromatic. It's even simpler looking than when it was stock.
Yes, everybody knows the black louvers that come with just about every 911.
Sure. Aesthetically, what I've done is I've taken off all the mirrors to make it cleaner. I use motorcycle mirrors instead. Just to clean up the lines. Little details like this, for example, what we love about speedsters is the fact that the body comes inside the cowl. So what I've done is I've taken away the plastic that was here, and they're usually in terrible shape. Instead, I've made it out of a material which is then painted exactly the same color, so it moves into the car. Little details like this, these are always black. I sent it to a guy in California that de-anodizes and re-anodizes it into natural aluminum. And then a guy in Maryland, you send him the badge and he'll do it any way you wanted. I wanted to be consistent with the colors on the car, which is basically either silver, black, or the sort of pewter color.
The headlights.
The headlights
are amber. This is French standard.
This is French standard glass, and it's just my idea of an aesthetic aspect of the thing.
No longer required in France, but for the longest time, if a car is registered in France, it had to have these.
Correct, and whether it's legal here, I don't know. I think it's nobody cares.
No one's ever stopped you for it,
Yeah,
right?
nobody's ever stopped me. Right.
I think it's probably not, by the way.
Oh, okay. Who knows?
I don't know.
Probably there
I've
is
never
no
seen anything in any driver manual saying what color the headlights have to be.
I think they have to be clear.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
And then the mags are all done, the Fuchs are all done in RSR finish by this guy in Los Angeles who does a fantastic job on it. And then this is usually black. I've done it in the same color of this to keep everything toned down as much as possible, together with titanium studs there. And then on the interior, You'll notice the rally clocks, everything simplified, including things like this. This is the overall power cutoff for it, which is done in the standard Bosch method, plus a little East German mascot, the Handelsmann, which you see on the stop signs in former Eastern Germany. It's either a little green man that shows him walking or that little one.
Now, the 912s, especially the first series of 912s, which this one is, had 3 gauges standard. Now, were the additional 911 style gauges optional?
No. I believe it was 64 and 65, or as soon as the 912s came out, which I think was actually in 65, 66, it was intended to be a less costly car.
Exactly.
And therefore they took out a lot of things that were deemed unnecessary to hold the cost down. Therefore, they deleted 2 of the instruments. So the ones with only 3 instruments are rarer. This was simply later on when they had it.
You gotta love the. I always love the Porsche instrument cluster. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, I'm all about gauges, so
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too, of course, and then I added also the Halda Tripmaster and the Renline clocks for rally work, as you can see probably from the other side.
The amazing thing about this is that, first of all, it is a 912 and not a 911, and all the little subtle differences. People will walk by this car today and say, 912, until you look at the details.
Yeah.
And that's where the trained eye says, wait a minute, there's something special about this
Yeah.
car.
Well, that's what I've tried to do. I mean, right down to the seat belts are very particular aircraft nylon that's very nubby that I was able to get out of Will Hoyt's out of L.A.
Excellent. This is beautiful, and thank you for taking us through it. I even like the rubber floor mats.
Well, that's all a part of the idea of no luxury. Everything is done in as basic as possible, as industrial as possible, without any semblance of luxury and pretension.
But the luxury is in the drive. And that's
Indeed.
what makes it special. Because they did an initial run of these the first few years of the 911, but then they stopped making them for a little while, and then they revived it in 1976.
Yeah.
The 912
Right.
as an entry-level Porsche, as a substitute for the 924. You tell me which one you'd rather have. For close to the same money, a 912 or 924, because the 912 is still a 911 under the skin, except for the engine.
That's what's amazing. It keeps you out of trouble. And all the parts are available. It's highly reliable, and this is absolutely fast enough to give you all the thrill that you want. And it'll be perfect for rallies because of the short wheelbase, because you don't need a lot of speed, you need a lot of agility, extremely good braking. And the suspension, this is basically the 911 suspension, which is very advanced.
Road and Track did an article on the 50th anniversary of the 911, and they talked to several of the engineers and the first 911s, and they talked about something called bite, throttle response. And the 356 engine, though less powerful, was highly refined to that level. So I'm sure that even though you're not getting as much power out of it as you would the 911 engine, you're still getting a lot of the performance from that point of view. You're getting the response, you're getting the flexibility.
Sure. You feel it every time you start it. Do you want me to start it?
Sure.
Oh, we'd love to hear that.
Okay. You hold this, and we'll flip the motor.
Matt, did a lot of people take these and put 911 engines in?
Actually, I really don't know for sure. That you got me stumped on that one. You could blow for that. Should I run for a bit?
Listen to that idle.
I'm sure a couple of people have upgraded, but it's defeating the purpose of the car. The 912 not only was the entry-level Porsche, but for all the reasons you stated, was in some cases preferable because its handling was a little bit better and it had the 356 engine in it. Some people preferred it.
Sounds beautiful. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it, and enjoy the whole show. We're very proud to be here. Thank
So are we.
you. Okay, very good.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
This
You
was
bet.
great. Beautiful.